Okay, let's unpack this a bit. We're looking at something, well, pretty common, I think. Learning a new approach, feeling good about it,
Uh-huh.
but also right away starting to see the potential roadblocks.
Exactly. And today's deep dive focuses on that feeling, specifically among future English teachers.
Right, people training to teach English and how
Yeah.
they feel about communicative language teaching, CLT.
That's the one. Our source is a study that looked into the perceptions of about 30 pre-service EFL teachers.
EFL, English as a foreign language.
Correct. At a university over in West Timor, Indonesia. And the context here is key.
Okay.
They just finished a course all about CLT. The theory, the
So it
practice.
was fresh in their minds, and CLT is all about interaction, right? Not just grammar rules.
Precisely. Yeah. Pair work, group activities, role plays, getting students to actually use the language.
Okay, so fresh out of this course,
Yeah.
what was the vibe? What did the study find?
Well, the main headline was high optimism. They were generally really positive about using CLT in their future classrooms.
Sounds promising. They learned it, they liked it.
Yeah, it does sound good. But here's where it gets more nuanced, and this is really the core of our discussion.
Okay.
Despite being optimistic, they also immediately started pointing out challenges, real practical difficulties they could foresee.
So it wasn't just blind enthusiasm. They were already thinking critically.
Exactly. They were looking ahead, anticipating the classroom reality.
And was there one challenge that stood out?
Yes, definitely. The biggest one they flagged, the one they were even starting to brainstorm solutions for,
Mm-hmm.
was getting the students to interact more,
Mm-hmm.
to actually participate actively in these CLT activities.
Right, because the method relies on that student interaction. If the students don't talk,
Then the method kind of falls flat,
okay,
doesn't it?
yeah,
So they've learned the how-to, but they're already worrying about the what if the students don't.
that human element makes sense. It's that jump from theory to, well, actual people in a room.
Absolutely. So this mix, optimism about the method itself, but this very practical foresight about the interaction hurdle. What does it tell us?
It feels like a really honest snapshot of sort of becoming a teacher, maybe. Learning the ideal versus anticipating the real.
I think so.
Yep.
And if we link it back to the study's goal, the research aimed to make teacher training, specifically their initial TFL course.
Their first teaching course.
Yeah, make it more grounded, more relevant to what they'll actually face. Understanding these early perceptions helps training programs do that better.
So it shows these future teachers aren't just passively taking notes. They're engaging, they're already problem solving for that key CLT challenge, student participation.
Mm-hmm. They're not just dreaming of perfect CLT classes.
Mm.
They're thinking, okay, how do I make this work when students are shy or reluctant?
It really throws a spotlight on that link, doesn't it? Between knowing the principles of teaching and predicting the messy reality of the classroom.
It does. Their optimism seems rooted in understanding the why and how of CLT.
But the challenges they see are rooted in imagining the who, the actual students.
Well put. It suggests that real preparedness isn't just about knowing the steps. It's also about anticipating where things might get tricky.
Like getting students comfortable enough to speak up, which is, well, central to CLT.
And studies like this, by acknowledging these very real concerns early on, hopefully encourage more teachers to actually try interactive methods like CLT. It validates their thinking.
So wrapping this up, the big takeaway seems to be that these teachers are optimistic, yes, but also realistic right from the start. They see the value in CLT, but they're already focused on that key hurdle of student interaction.
Yeah, and the study itself was trying to bridge that gap, make the training connect better with those future classroom realities.
It highlights how crucial it is to think about both the theory and the practical application almost simultaneously.
Definitely. It's one thing to learn about a method.
And quite another to actually do it effectively with real people.
So maybe a final thought for you listening. What does this study suggest about that gap?
Mm.
The one between learning a new skill or method and then successfully putting it into practice in the real world.
It's not just about knowing the theory, is it? It seems like anticipating the human, the practical, the interactive challenges. That's a huge part of being ready. Something to think about.